Hello, Carlos.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
I'm great.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Likewise.
Please tell me about yourself. Who are you?
My name is Fonguy Carlos Bintar. I'm from Cameroon. I'm an environmental engineer specialized in integrated water resource management and sanitation in African towns. I serve as the operations manager of SELAMO, which stands for Sustainable Environment for Life and Mobilization.
That sounds very complicated. I guess it means you're engineer in water and sanitation means toilets? Have you always wanted to be that?
No.
How did you come to it?
Nature has its way of doing things. I was a national champion in wrestling.
Okay.
And for some reason, preparing for the university games, preparing for the Olympic Games, I was involved in an accident. This traumatized me and changes everything about my life.
Okay. That's actually quite intense. To go from being a national wrestling champion to an engineer in water and sanitation, can you tell us what happened?
Yes, it was one fateful morning that my father instructed me to wash some dresses for him. But I had a different plan of visiting my friends so that we could share memories and things that had happened in our absence. So I chose to follow my own intuition and went to visit my friend. On coming back, we took a motorbike. We were three on the bike, and the environment was very dusty because it was dry season. We asked the bike driver to take a particular route, but he said no, that the other route was easier, and he continued. There was a cargo moving ahead of us, and the dust was too much. So he chose to overtake this cargo, and on overtaking the cargo, we were hit by another vehicle coming in the opposite direction. I was the last on the bike, and I fell on the road. Then this cargo passed over me, and I thought that was the end. And I could hear my friend crying that Carlos is dead, Carlos is dead. But I was trying to raise my hand to tell him that I'm still alive, there is still hope. I saw a second car coming. I had to crawl away from the road, but I collapsed. 3 hours later, I realized myself in the hospital, and people were like crying. Everybody was just surprised that, hey, what really happened? And I was surrounded by so many people. For one, I was confused, and I asked my father what was going on. But he just told me that I should be calm. Everything is going to be fine. And the next moment, I was taken for a scan. And the next moment, I was told I had a serious fracture, which might result to me being on the wheelchair for life.
Wow.
I was like, oh, so this is the end of the road for Carlos. I would never be on the mat tatami again, like we call it. I would never have the opportunity to become the world champion as I've always wanted. And my father, knowing how I always wanted this, he ensured that he surrounds me with good friends that always control whatsoever I was doing. Because in my mind, I wanted to commit suicide.
Wow.
So that I should not be a dependent to all the people who were around me, always feeling emotional, feeling sorry for me, whereas I am the one who was always like taking the lead. And fast forwarding, I was getting better, about to leave the hospital. And
how long did they take you?
I spent 6 months in the hospital before I could start moving my back just a bit. And then I chose not to walk with the crutches because my mindset was always very positive. And they designed a very beautiful walking stick for me, which when walking slowly, people could not feel pity for me because I feel bad when people feel sorry for me.
So your image was very important at that time. You're
very, very.
Struggling to stand up, 6 months in a hospital bed, and this is the fate of the Cameroon wrestling champion.
That's correct.
And you're still trying to keep positive, but still having some dark thoughts.
Of course. So I keep the positive mind, but luckily for me, I had some people who always wanted me to be a medical doctor. So they continue telling me that there are still opportunities in other sector. And in 2012, there was a flood in the northern part of Cameroon, and many people lost their lives. And one of these mentors asked me to come and assist in the construction of toilets and water infrastructure.
Had you been working by that time?
For instance, as a wrestler, I had the opportunity that during holidays, we always go to villages and help them to develop their water, their drainage systems, their water infrastructures, because Cameroon is abundantly blessed with water infrastructure, but yet not developed.
I'm wondering, at the time that your friend, mentor asked you to go help in this village, how long had it been since the accident?
It was over now a year.
A year. So
Yes.
it took you that long to recover.
Yes.
And you're looking for new things to do, and he says,
There's an opportunity.
so
Come
that you
work
don't
with me
stay
at one place.
at one place.
Yes.
Okay. And you go to this community, and what happens?
And in the northern part, I could hear families crying that, oh, we have missing people. And the journal could say that more than 150 we are missing. And I could see so many people displaced. But with the construction of the water infrastructures, the construction of the toilets, I could see how life was coming back to the community. This gave me a new purpose to life. And then, end of that year, everything started changing for the better, because I simply applied for a scholarship in the domain with the experience from the flood impact, and the European Union granted me a scholarship to study water engineering, and here am I.
Okay, so something shifted.
Yes.
At that time, were you okay letting go of wrestling?
No.
Okay.
I still, even to date, I still train the youth in the wrestling and all the physical activities. Sometimes I still even do a bit of competition just to make sure that I'm still alive. Because for me, it's not just being a champion, it was a passion. And it was also from the background that when you are physically fit, you are good to go. So I still always exercise to keep fit.
This mindset is what helped you transfer from one area to the other.
Yes.
What did you learn during this flood in this community?
I've learned that at the service of humanity, I'm not more a champion for myself, but now a people's champion, because many people now look up to me and I'm supposed to lead this change and improve their livelihood.
Why is being a champion so important to you?
That's a tough one. Being a champion, to me, I grew up in a community where we are dominated by young boys, and there was just that competition. And if you are not top, you could not belong. It means when you go to a setting, you have to stand up while the others are sitting. But even if you are young and you are man enough, you are always respected. So I know that being a champion means respect, and I love being respected.
And today, do you see those elements of you being a champion, you being strong, you being supportive? How does that apply to your work today in building toilets, in infrastructure, in sanitation?
For instance, sometimes just the confidence of I know I was already a champion, known in Cameroon and even in some African countries. That mindset of being a champion always gives me a way of approaching people. I approach a community in a confident way that sometimes the chiefs ask me whether I'm a prince, because only princes have that authority to talk with the other prince in such a way I approach them. So that mindset has always kept me to influence community action. If I should take a simple example, during the cholera outbreak in Cameroon, Nigeria Peninsula, that's the Bakasu Peninsula, we went there and there was a common mindset that this was a pledge from God, that God was punishing these people. And the pastors simply asked people to pray and fast and pay tithes. And it was very difficult for NGOs to even help them out. I reached there as a wash professional, and I was like, while talking to the chief, doing action, and I was just confident, telling the pastors that I don't care about what they say, I'm here now and things have to change. And the chiefs were like, is he serious? How can he say the pastors are wrong? And within the short moment since I'm talking and acting, things change because we gave the children oral rehydration solution. And while still trying to convince the chiefs, things started changing because they stopped vomiting. And the chief said, oh, these guys, he was really serious. And since then, we acquired the name doctor. In Cameroon now, most people still call me, especially people that worked around that area within that time. The people who are working with Doctors Without Borders and other NGOs, they still call us doctors. Because even though they were in the medical field, the people in the field consider us doctors since we are at the forefront.
You take leadership, you push things where you believe.
Yes.
You are driven by this competition that pushes you to succeed and to be the top all the time. But what are you in service of?
I am in service of humanity, because when you look at sanitation, you cannot separate it from water. You cannot talk about sanitation when there's no water. And looking at Sustainable Development Goals, most of them, or almost all of them, are linked with water and sanitation. So I know that if I am creating the meaningful impact, I'm serving humanity in the right direction.
Thank you.